There's a wonderful passage here. Would you permit me to quote you?
I have no choice.
What could have caused what could have caused Paul's vision? Common sense suggests several possibilities. Incidentally, common sense is a very poor guide. I had a professor of philosophy at Cornell by the name of Max Black who said, anytime anyone says obviously, it isn't. Common sense suggests several possibilities. It is possible that Paul suffered from an organic disease such as epilepsy, which would account for his collapse. He might be referring to this malady when he wrote, "A thorn was given me in the flesh." It also could have been falling hair. I mean, there is no indication in the account at all as to what the disease was, but suddenly it's epilepsy, all right? Or perhaps the heat and exertion of a walking journey under the midday sun in the Middle East could have led to a heat stroke.
Happened to Martin Luther?
Oh, no, not at all. It wasn't a heat stroke. It was a lightning storm. But anyway, to my way of thinking, this is so terribly speculative. It is just speculative. There is no possible way to establish anything like that.
Correct.
Well, then why do you...
I wasn't there. You weren't there.
Aha, all
but
right.
Some people act like they were.
Ah, right. The people who...
Some modern people.
That's right.
Act like they
That's
were.
right. And they're wrong, aren't they? They certainly shouldn't give that sort of an impression. But it seems to me that unlike you and me, who weren't there, we've got Paul who was there. And Paul describes his experience on the Damascus road, and his companion, the physician Luke, describes it also in two places in the book of Acts. And so out of this, we find that this thing was certainly not a fig Newton of Paul's imagination. This was not a matter of pure subjectivity.
But what does Acts say? Does it say his followers saw nothing?
Oh, no.
Followers did not see Jesus.
Ah, no,
They
no.
saw a light.
Careful. But by the way, do you read Greek? Do you handle the
No,
Greek
I
New
do not.
Testament?
Do
Okay,
not.
I wondered, because in a footnote to your article, footnote 85, you say...
That's my favorite footnote.
Yes, it is. I thought it would be. Yes, that Acts 9 and Acts 22 contain bizarre contradictions in dealing with the same thing. Do you know, on the basis of the Greek, there's no contradiction at all there. What the text says is that the people with Paul were not able to make out the person who was there, but they saw a man, right? They saw light, huh?
And which is it?
It's light.
Okay.
It's light. They
Careful.
saw light, but they were not able to make out the person, the individual.
What did they hear? Did they hear the voice?
They heard sound, but they were not able to make out the words. That's the distinction between akouein followed by the genitive and akouein followed by the accusative in those two passages. This is a clear distinction between hearing sound and making out specific words. So the point of those passages is that even the people with Paul were directly affected objectively by something happening outside of Paul. So you can't very well say that this was a vision that he created out of, maybe he had had poor hot tamales for lunch before this had occurred.
But you and Mr. Ankerberg keep talking like we could go back and pick up the old cable news network tape of what actually happened.
No.
Or we could go back and pick up the old New York Times edition that morning and see what actually happened.
No, merely Paul's own writing and that of his immediate companion, the Tonto to his Lone Ranger, namely Luke.